Alright guys, welcome back. I am Serena. I am one half of Life After Union. We are two twin flames in union that make these weekly videos to help you through your twin flame path and your conscious relationships and also your spiritual awakening journey. So I feel super grateful to be here with you today. This video is a request from my twin flame community. And yeah, I hope you stick around for the whole thing because I think there's going to be really important points brought up for this. But basically, we're going to be talking today about receiving discouragement on your twin flame journey, receiving unsolicited advice, all of these kinds of things. Okay, so there's a lot to cover in this topic, so I'm going to try and address it as directly and openly as possible, because this also happened to me on my twin flame journey. So, and there's a purpose to it. There's a multifaceted purposes to why this happens. So if you are on a twin flame journey and you have experienced tarot readers, psychics, mediums, whatever it might be, say, oh, that's not the one, or don't go in that direction, or they're not your twin flame, or, they're a bad person, or whatever it might be, right? A person, let's say any person in a position that you respect, right? Because this could even be your best friend, this could be your parents, this could be anybody in your life that's talking to you about your twin flame. So, wow, there's so much to uncover here. So first, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. And if this has happened to you, let me know in the comments what your story is and how this progressed for you, because I think it's really a lot more common than many of us are really talking about. And it's very important to talk about this because this can steer a lot of us in the wrong direction for a long time. Now, that being said, I don't really have an organizational way to talk about this, so I hope you can follow along because I'm just going to speak the thoughts as they come up. And there's also a deep sadness coming up right now. I want to sit with it for a minute. If you feel it within you, I want you to also sit with it for a minute. It's a deep sadness of, for me at least, I don't know, or the collective, it's a deep sadness of misunderstanding. When you share this vulnerable truth, right? And most of us on the twin flame journey already feel crazy. We already feel like psychos. We already feel like, how is this happening to me? Am I going crazy? There's this literally the most profound thing that has ever happened to me in my life I'm experiencing right now. And when somebody discourages it or gives you unsolicited advice, there's a deep, deep sadness of being misunderstood. And I want to attend to that. And if you have that coming up within you, I want you to also attend to that. Because it is very difficult. Because it is also such a lonely journey. And it's such a heartbreaking journey. There's so much darkness that we have to attend to. And there's so much sensitivity and vulnerability in this journey. So I want to honor you and honor the collective, honor anybody that has had this happen to them, and just say, like, I do understand you, to the best of my ability, of course, but this has also happened to me. So you're not alone in the fact that this is coming up. And I think when I post this video and we see how many of us in the comments this has actually happened to, we're all going to feel that sense of, wow, I'm actually not alone in this. So let's dive into the topic. Unsolicited advice. If you visited somebody of authority, a shaman, a psychic, a tarot reader, an intuitive, a medium, anything like that, and they have said this person is not your twin flame, they have said this is a bad person, don't go in this direction, there's a few reasons why this happens. Okay? And we're going to take radical responsibility here. So a lot of this might not be what you actually want to hear. And I'm sorry that I might have to be that person to give you that information. So sometimes this happens, and for everybody it's going to be different. So as I speak this, it's going to resonate with you which one you are, and you might be multiples of them. So it's not cut and dry. It's like it can be multifaceted for many of you. The reason why this happens for some of you is that you still are operating under such strong doubt programs that the universe is mirroring back to you your own fears and your own doubt. Okay, so if you have, like, let's say you have, we'll just make it easy and put it into percentages. Let's say you're at 70% doubt, 30% belief, and you go see a psychic. They might not be strong enough to not fall into your belief system, right? And so what's happening is they're mirroring back to you your own belief system, which might be doubt or fear or criticism or confusion. Now, this happens for a few different reasons. This happens to amplify either your fears or what you know to be true. Okay, so, and this is going to depend on your response. So if somebody says this to you and you're outraged, right? If you're outraged, you're like, how could they, blah, 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 like, they don't know what they're talking about. Then what it's telling you is you know the truth already within. You know the truth. If this happens to you and you're more saddened and you feel hopeless and you feel just more confused, then it's telling you that you have to be the one to choose, right? You need to choose your story. So in any capacity, what this is doing is it's trying to put the power back in your hands. So it's actually happening for a positive reason, right? And yes, while tarot readers and shamans and intuitive and life coaches and all of us, we should never overstep our boundaries, right? And many of us do that. But sometimes it happens to show you that you are actually putting people's wisdom or people's truth on a pedestal above your own, right? So when somebody says something to you that doesn't resonate, right, or that makes you doubt your own truth or what you know to be true, then you have to ask yourself, what am I willing to believe? Who is the writer of my story? Is this person the writer of my story, or am I the writer of my story? And believe me, this has happened to me. This has happened to me through just watching TikTok readings, where I've watched a TikTok reading and I've like agreed to that belief system, and then I'm trying to make it play out in my physical reality, not asking myself, do I actually want that to be my truth? I'm creating my reality. They're just showing you a possibility, right? There are infinite possibilities. They're showing you one possibility, and it's your choice whether you agree to that timeline or not. If you agree to that timeline, all right, then it's yours, right? This is the danger, but also the beauty of spoken word. Because those of us that have the ability to use our platforms and speak, we also have to take responsibility for the fact that whatever we might speak, others might take as their own, and that could be positive or that could be negative, right? So you always have to have a caveat of use your own discernment. Don't say yes to this just because I'm speaking it. Say yes to it because it resonates with you. Say yes to it because it feels right to you. So let's also go into like the family aspect, right? Like if your family, your mom, your dad, your sister, your best friends, like your close relationships, if your close relationships are like poo-pooing your twin flame dynamic, again, so there's a quote that's coming to mind right now, which is, would you take advice from somebody that you don't like the lifestyle of, right? If there's somebody in your life that you don't agree with the way they're living, or they don't live up to their word, or they're not embodied in their truth, or whatever it might be, would you take their advice on other things, right? Would you, if you had like a friend that ate like crap and didn't work out, and then you're doing your workouts and you're disciplined, you're going to the gym, you're eating well, and they try to tell you how to work out better, would you take their advice? You'd be like, no, screw off. You don't even know what you're talking about, right? The same again is true for this twin flame journey. You know what you're feeling. You know what you're experiencing. And so when we take advice, unsolicited advice from others, right? From others that aren't on the same journey as us, right? They're not on this journey, so they can't really understand. And that's why that sadness of being misunderstood is so profound. Because we have to put our power back and say, yeah, I do want to talk about this with my best friend, or yeah, I do want to talk about this with my mom, or whoever it might be in your life, but they might not be able to receive it. They don't have the same capacity, they don't have the same level of consciousness or awareness that you do. So you have to take everything that they say with a grain of salt, right? And again, ask yourself, is that the story I want it to be? Is that how I want it to be? So if somebody isn't living the reality or the life that you want for yourself, don't take advice from them in that area of life. That's just as simple as I could possibly make it. Now I'm going to keep moving through this. So there's another aspect here of when we ask for somebody, if people are giving us unsolicited advice, right? Like we didn't even ask them for advice. We didn't even ask them for the input, and they're giving it to us anyways. This is a very strong lesson in boundaries, right? A lot of us have the nice person or the people pleaser program, which makes us feel like in a conversation we need to listen and empathize with everything everybody else says. That's not the case. You can stand in your truth and you can say respectfully, simply, I don't agree with you, or I'd actually really like to change the subject, or especially you guys, if you are paying somebody, right? Like let's go back to the fact that you might be paying a tarot reader, or you might be paying a psychic or something like that. If you are paying them, they're there to serve you. You get to bring to them what you would like to talk about, okay? They're serving you because you're the one paying them. That's an energy exchange. You don't have to sit there and listen to whatever direction they want to move in. Now, that being said, there is a divine plan to that, right? Because the divine plan is a larger lesson of you standing in your power, you standing in your boundaries, you not being the victim of other people's mentalities and belief systems, right? You creating your own sovereignty and belief systems through this thing. You even potentially alerting them to their blind spot, because you're probably not the first person they've done this to, and you're probably not the last. So you can also take it as a, hey, that's not a way to conduct business in a new earth way, right? Or in a heart-centered way, or a soul-aligned way, whatever you want to say. But this is also a way to say, like, okay, where did I put their truth above my own? Or where did I feel like I needed to be nice and let them finish talking? Where you don't need to. They're serving you. So if you want to change the circumstances at any moment, you have the ability to do so. You don't have to put up with whatever somebody's giving you just because they seem like they're in a position of authority. There is no authority over your twin flame story beyond you. You are the authority of your twin flame story. So I could tell you all of these things I intuit from your twin flame story, and all of it could be right. But if you're not in a place where you're ready to hear it and receive it, then there's no point in speaking it, right? So this is why twin flame mentors, this is why tarot readers, psychics, this is why we need, and this is me calling us to be doing better, because we're not doing better now, because a lot of people are getting hurt through these things. This is us just learning when we should speak and when we should shut the F up, right? Some of us need to just learn to shut the F up. Not everything is important to speak. And if it's important for you to speak in an intuitive way, it will come back more than once. I had this experience on one of my calls last night for my twin flame community. If you want to join, link is down below. But this came up where I had an intuitive hit when a woman was talking. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, that's awesome. But it didn't seem relevant right now. So I was like, I'm not going to share that. And then about 5-10 minutes later, she said the exact same thing that was kind of in my mind. And so it's like it came up again, and that intuitive hit me again. And I was like, okay, Spirit, I hear you now. And then I asked her permission. I said on the call, hey, I have an intuitive download on this thing that you were talking about. Do you want to hear it? And by asking permission for me to share that, that gives the person the right and the power over their own journey. I don't want to share intuitive messages with somebody that's not open to receiving it. And just by asking permission, it allows that person to choose whether they are open to receiving it or not. The twin flame journey is very complex and it's very difficult at times. There's times where we need to go it alone, and there's times where we need support, and we have to be the ones to decide with conjunction of spirit, right? The twin flame journey is you and spirit. So within us and spirit, we have to be the ones to decide whether we're ready for support right now or whether it's time to turn within. And it may change from day to day. Now, that being said, a lot of times, last point, this will happen when you're meant to dig deeper into your own truth, when you're meant to turn within, right? So if you have people mirroring back to you your own lack of clarity, your own confusion, mirroring back to you your own doubt, mirroring back to you your own fears around your twin flame, all of these things is what the universe is doing at this point. And many of us go through a period where we turn away from astrology, we turn away from human design, we turn away from gene keys, we turn away from whatever systems we had been working with in the past, because it only is reflecting back to us our own confusion. And that is a very clear sign to get stronger in our own inner voice and our own inner knowing. So if this has happened to you where someone gave you unsolicited advice, or you were asking for support and advice and they only mirrored back to you that confusion, fear, or chaos, whatever it might be, it's a very clear sign to turn within and get stronger on your own story, get stronger on your own belief system. So that is what I have to say about that. I hope that this helped you. Again, let me know in the comments about your story, about your experience with this, and how it's unfolded for you and how it's shown up for you. I would love to hear more. If you're looking for more support, of course, please join Union Callus Portal. You can join for 7 days for free to check out the vibe. We meet every other Tuesday in our live webinar series, and we can be doing anything from group meditations to energy updates to content lesson calls. So it's all changing all the time based on what everyone is moving through in the community, and that's what makes it so special. So if you're interested, please join down below, and we will see you in the next video. Big love. Bye.